From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. And let's see here. This briefing covers today, the 4th through the 10th of March. And let's take a quick look at conditions as they're happening right now. Here's the satellite image. There is radar overlaid on this, believe it or not, even though you can hardly find any radar echoes. There's just a few across the country, but no radar returns anywhere even close to us. In fact, lots of clear skies, sunny, low 60s, just a pleasant day. Now, it's hard to see in here, but believe it or not, there is a cold front that will drop down to the south. And, you know, it's kind of basically right in here. You can kind of see that front. And it's, you know, you can see some colder temperatures to our north. Now, that front is going to sneak south today. It's going to cross our area this evening, but with very, very dry air in place, you're not going to see any rain from this at all. It's going to move through uneventfully. And the only way you're going to know there was a front moving through is because it's going to turn a little bit cooler. So I'm not saying we're going to see temperatures in the 30s, you know, for highs or anything like that, but we may, you know, dip down into the 50s, stay in the 40s a little while longer than we otherwise would. So tomorrow and Saturday and maybe even into Sunday, we'll see. And low temperatures dipping down into the upper 20s. So that's really the only weather player to speak of. I'll also point out that the current dew points are very dry. So when you have dew points in the 20s over us right now, and you have temperatures in the 60s, that means the relative humidity is very, very low. And the wind is, you know, pretty steady from the northwest at about 10, maybe gusting to 15 miles per hour. There's the gusts. So it's a little on the breezy side. And when you couple the combination of dry, low humidity coupled with breezy, if not windy at times today, then that basically increases the risk for rapid spread of wildfire. Now, we don't have a red flag warning in effect right now. We don't have an enhanced fire danger in effect. You know, we're close to those criteria, but not quite meeting it. So nevertheless, I would still recommend that, you know, today's not a good day to burn. So anyway, just keep that in mind. You know, with the breezy northwest winds and low humidity, any fires that start could you know, get going or spread pretty quickly. So anyway, all right, back to our slides. So there in the tonight and Friday time period in the upper left, you can see that cold front slipping through. But once we get past that, look at Saturday, look at early next week, look at middle next week. You see nothing but high pressure sitting over the Carolinas during that time. So basically, we've got dry weather through the next 7 days. When was the last time I was able to say that? It's been a long time since I've said dry weather for the next 7 days. So we will take it. You know, rivers and stream flows are still high. The lakes are still high. We dearly need a decent stretch of dry weather, and at least the next 7 days will offer that. As I kind of pointed out already, elevated fire weather conditions today due to low humidity and gusty winds. As I pointed out, a dry cold front will move across our area late this evening and then turning cooler for Friday and the weekend. But once we get to the early and middle part of next week, when that high moves offshore, it'll warm back up. As once we get on the west side of that high pressure, we'll probably be above normal temperatures by the middle of next week. All right, so nice weather. Here's the accumulated precipitation forecast. And again, just to reiterate, dry through the next 7 days, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. I think we're all very happy about that. All right, so no excessive rainfall hazards, no thunderstorm hazards. And as we look through, kind of peer into the, you know, more distant future, the 8 to 14 day outlook shows above normal temperatures are favored for the east, and above normal precip is favored for the east. So enjoy the dry weather while we have it, because it looks like in the 8 to 14 day outlook, the odds favor, at least, you know, odds favor a little bit above normal precip. So anyway, enjoy this dry weather while we can. All right. So that wraps up our weekly briefing for this Thursday. Dry weather through the next 7 days. A dry cold front will move across our area late this evening. It'll turn cooler for Friday and the weekend, but then it'll warm back up above normal by the middle of next week. All right. And then the only hazard we could come up with is the elevated fire weather conditions today due to the low humidity and gusty winds. It is a little breezy out there, as I pointed out at the beginning. So there is the details there at the bottom. And, it'll get a little chilly tonight and the next couple nights, lows in the upper 20s. So, so we're not quite out of the woods yet as in terms of, potential for overnight freezes. So we're still well within that time frame, climatologically speaking. Okay. Our last freeze of the season, in case you're wondering, typically doesn't occur until later in March or more likely early in April. I think April 8th or April 11th, somewhere in that time frame, somewhere the 1st through the 11th of April is our climatological last freeze of the season. So anyway, we got a ways to go yet before we get to that. And then finally, I'll leave you with next week is Severe Weather Preparedness Week for North Carolina. Don't forget that the statewide tornado drill is scheduled for next Wednesday, March 10th at 9:30 a.m. The weather looks good, so I don't think there's a risk that we'll have to postpone that. Next Wednesday at 9:30, schools and government buildings statewide will hold tornado drills to practice emergency plans. I encourage everybody to participate in this drill. And how do you participate in the drill? Well, basically, you just figure out where you're going to go if a tornado warning was issued for your area, and then go there. Check it out. Make sure that your storm shelter offers adequate protection if a tornado were to approach. Okay, and where's safe shelter? Underground in a basement, if you have one. But if you don't have a basement, the lowest floor of your home, your business, your school, your office, your workplace, the lowest floor, and get in the middle. Put as many walls between you and the outside. And finally, if your shelter has a window, that's not in an interior room. So pick somewhere else that has no windows and put as many walls between you and the outside. So basically, just identify that location during the drill next week. Okay, and if you do that, then at least you could say you've participated in the tornado drill. You've gone there, you've identified it, and then this way, later on in the season, if a tornado warning is issued, you'll know exactly where to go. Okay, so spread the word and help us get the word out about Severe Weather Preparedness Week. Next week weather is going to be good, so let's take the time during that good weather to prepare and to get ready and make our plans for when the weather does turn bad due to severe storms. Okay, so with that, thank you for joining this Thursday's edition of the Weekly Briefing.